Okay, Outcast by Dave Williams. Chapter 1, Hollow Man. The lines at the Rose Auditorium wrapped around the block. John Fisher, glad he had reserved a seat, listened to the excited chatter of the crowd around him. This was the most publicized event in Las Vegas since the mayor signed the 2914 Peace Forever Treaty. Fisher apologized to other spectators as he threaded his way through the chairs to his assigned seat 2 rows behind the symphony orchestra. This was a big event, and it would take his mind off the boy's death. A Lunar Lucky sat beside him wearing a crater necklace. The Lunar Luckies lobbied for carbon nanotube space elevators so they could colonize the moon. Fisher looked with envy at Adam J. Holloman as the Holocaust interviewer, a buxom blonde with extended eyelashes and a thin waist, conducted the interview. Holloman was the hero of the age. Fisher wished he, not Holloman, was sitting on the stage. To risk your life for science was the ultimate collectivist sacrifice. The Adamson group had teleported a chimpanzee and an elephant with no apparent damage to the animals. The group ran holo ads for volunteers. Hundreds responded from ages 9 to 399, from elementary schools to goodbye homes. Guards and inmates from re-ed camps sent their applications. Each one wanted a place in the history books as the first teleported human. The group had vetted the applicants and picked Adam Holloman to be number 1, the first teleported human. He had welcomed the opportunity and prepared for it like a top athlete through daily study and training. Committees raved about his credentials. The big day arrived, and the group now paraded Adam Holloman before the holodigits and the newsies like a prize fighter. "What brought you here?" the Holocauster asked. "The challenge," he replied. Holloman had a broad brow, thin black hair combed black, a squat nose, and a mouth that twisted down on the left side. He wore a gray-green alpaca tunic and cashmere pants with side zippers and flared bottoms. His blue eyes sparkled. "What makes you think it's safe?" she asked. She fluttered her eyelashes at him. "I'm confident the scientists know what they're doing. They assured me it's safe and chose me to do it. One for all for the collective. They had problems with the chimpanzee. That chimp came out missing a leg." "I know," Adam said. "A failure is another step towards success." "Aren't you worried you could lose a limb?" she asked. "We are in a new century. Science has advanced. Besides, the latest experiments with apes and chimps and elephants have proved the methods work. What characteristics do you possess that made them select you? After all, with hundreds of volunteers from ages 9 to 399, they had their pick." Her middle finger extended to his lower lip. 100 years before, someone watching would have seen it as an obscene gesture. It was an ordinary gesture in the Holo Age, when Holocausters' microphones were embedded in their middle fingers. "A 9-year-old terrified me," he said. "You must be kidding." "No. He taught my scores in math and writing, but thanks be to the collective, I beat him in weightlifting." "You're too modest," she gushed. Fisher thought she was fishing for a marriage proposal. "You've accomplished much, haven't you?" She knew how to stroke him. "I graduated with honors, Seda School and Collective College. Did grad work on a Sandoval scholarship. Foreman at the InfoCube factory for 5 years. Unmarried, no parents, no children. Good physical shape. I qualified for the 2708 City Olympics." "In what events?" "Pole vault, archery, and computer wizardry. I served in the military in the wasteland," Holloman said. "Belgium, too, protected the fortress where they keep the beast. We dealt with terrorists and criminals as when the protesters stormed the fortress and tried to disconnect the beast. 3 years ago, I fought hand-to-hand combat against outcasts in the wasteland." "You've passed the religious test." She knew the answer. No Bible thumpers in my family. No heaven above, no hell below. All for the collective. He smiled. He had a snaggletooth, which made his smile more endearing. In my family, we imagine. What happened to your parents? His face turned pale. I can't discuss it. She changed the topic. How did they train you for this experiment? Good jump, thought Fisher. It's not an experiment, he said. The city scientists will demonstrate how they've mastered a new field. I'm sure it will work. It's a demonstration, she corrected herself. The main skill is to quiet the muscles. I've studied how to meditate with the high Zen bossy method for months. My teacher, Suma Konzi, has trained adepts by the thousands. You've mastered the techniques? From start to finish and back again. I heard you've received messages by the thousands from well-wishers. Dozens of marriage proposals, he said. I'll need months to pick a bride. Don't know how I'll do it. She leaned closer to him. You poor boy. Who are the proposals from? City women, lawyers, doctors, engineers, singers, teachers. No proposals from outcast women. They both snickered. And don't forget the gifts. The gifts? Rings, capes, suits, shirts, an offer to reside my whole life for free in a sky-high condo. I would have the entire 600th floor of the Goodman building to myself. Any other offers? Holo movies, a series, an opera based upon my life. My agent has ideas for tours and spectacles. You'll see me at the stadium. She turned to face the lens. Adam Holloman, my fellow Las Vegans, the hero of the age, first teleported man. The audience cheered. Fisher cheered along with the crowd. He wanted to exchange places with Holloman. The orchestra played a popular military tune. As the cheers grew louder, Adam Holloman stood and waved at the adoring crowd. People stood, first a few, then more, then the whole auditorium. They yelled, Adam J, all the way with Adam J. Teleport a world away. Fisher reveled in the group spirit as he clapped and chanted with them. The scientists planned to teleport him across the community center's stage, as had been done with a chimpanzee and an elephant. As the newsies recorded him, as women threw their scented underwear onto the stage, as potential sponsors stood by with contracts in hand, as Holo Soap directors stamped their feet and twitched their fingers, eager to sign the new star, Adam Holloman stepped into the first unit named, appropriately, Unit Number 1. The group had given him the phrase he would say when he reached the other side, which was, one step for man, one quantum leap for mankind. The group selected the phrase to echo astronaut Neil Armstrong's words as the first man on the moon. With great fanfare as the orchestra played the Kreutzer Sonata inside and a network school band played marching tunes outside, the scientists and doctors stepped forward, bowed to the applause, and strutted to their control consoles. The mayor had outlawed bets on the outcome, but Las Vegas oddsmakers had set the odds at 9-5. Their business was brisk. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Joyner said, this is the moment we have been waiting for, the first time a human is teleported. At first, we transmitted qubits, then animals, now a human. This rounds off work for more than a century in this field. What we do here today equals Columbus's discovery of America, Einstein's theory of relativity, Shaw's solution to the Riemann hypothesis, and Tybalt's theory of universal gravitation. This is a great moment for our city, the greatest city in the world. One for all for the collective. He paused. And now the mayor will share a word with us. All eyes turned to the hologram that formed above the stage. The mayor appeared, tall, dark, handsome as a holostar. The audience cheered and clapped. One by one, people rose to their feet as the audience gave him a standing ovation. "My children, I won't keep you long," the mayor began. "This is an important moment for our great city. With your help, we will push forward the scientific frontier. Today, Adam Holloman will lead us to a new, more powerful future. One for all for the collective." Dr. Joyner said, "Without further ado, we will proceed." During the speeches, Mr. Holloman had waited, head bowed. The controls hummed and clicked. Scientists threw switches and levers. Lights blinked green and blue and red. A yellow beam covered Mr. Holloman from head to toe, and bling, zing, dash, it happened. Part, and only part, of Mr. Holloman was teleported at light speed across the stage to Unit Number 2. To be precise, his internal organs were teleported. The rest of his body remained at Unit Number 1. The scientists, as they reported later to the HoloNews, had misapplied the corollary to Lear's theorem that quantum must be calibrated according to the tenor and pH of the entire body and its electromagnetic field when the object is teleported. Mr. Holloman's liver, spleen, stomach, gallbladder, and sphincter reached Unit Number 2, while the now gutted body stood aghast and amazed at Unit Number 1. Several doctors from the audience rushed forward to tend to the patient, aided by modern machines and medical miracles. But all the city's robots and all the city's droids could not put Holloman together again. The orchestra played "Nearer, My God, to Thee." Fisher stepped outside under a pale moon, tucked his dangling tie behind his shirt, and vomited into the bushes.